For now, we're going to talk about multiplying algebraic terms. So in an earlier video, I talked about like terms can be added. But that adding like terms doesn't change the variable or the letter part of the term. So if we had something like 4x plus 3x, those are like terms, so we just add the coefficients. 4 plus 3, 7, and our x's are still stays the same, because these are like the super secret ninja one that we don't write. Okay, so now we're moving on to multiplication for terms. When we multiply terms, so I'm going to use these same ones, but as if we're multiplying them. 4x times 3x. So all of these numbers are going to be, or all of these factors are going to be part of it. So we have 4 times 3 times x, right? And these are super secret ninja ones. So 4 times 3 is 12. And I just pre-rearranged as the same as 4 times x times 3 times x, right? So 4 times 3 is 12. And whenever we multiply variables, we, just like with the tens, the power of the tens, we add their powers together, right? So x times x becomes x squared, okay? So terms can be multiplied even if they're not like terms. So let's do the opposite. Negative 3x, and then do negative 4y. This is the same as doing negative 3 times negative 4 times x times y. I'm just writing out the ones there, but negative 3 times negative 4, those signs are the same, so it's positive. It's 12 times x times y is 12xy, right? So now let's do an example. Simplify. Let's do negative 4x squared y times 3x times negative 5x y. Okay, so let's go ahead and write all these things out, and then rearrange. So I'm going to do negative 4 times x times y times 3 times x times negative 5 times x times y. Okay, so let's do the numbers 4, 3, and 5. We have 2 that are the same sign, so that would be positive. Right, so we can do negative 4 times negative 5 is the same as 20 times 3 is 60 times x times x times y times x times y. We have two y's, so times x times x times x times x times y times y give us 60x, so this is just like the tens, x to the 4 y squared. You could also, I am going to write these another way. You could still leave, so you could still do negative 4 times x squared times y times 3 times x times, here, let me scoot this over. So negative 4 times x squared times y times 3 times x times negative 5 times x times y. So you can do 4 times 3, which is your negative 12 times negative 5. So on here, if you want, in my opinion, you can still add these exponents, x, but you have to do it by the same variable. You can't do the y plus the x because they're different letters or different variables, but you can do the x's. So x2 plus 1 plus 1 is x4, and then y1 and y1 is x squared or y squared. So negative 12 times negative 5 is positive 60. And then we still have x4 y squared. So you can either write them all out if that's helpful to you, or you can leave these as they are and just multiply the same variables together. Right, you can do your x's, and then you can do your y's, and you can do your coefficients, right? That way you're doing all of the right things together for algebraic multiplication. So now let's do this. Simplify negative 3ab times a squared b times 4b. Excuse me. Okay, so our coefficients are going to be 3, our ninja 1, and 4. So negative 3 times 1 is still negative 3 times 4. Opposite sign, so it's negative. 3 times 4 is 12. So our number part is negative 12. Now, our variable a, oh, we don't have an a in the last one. Our variable a is a1 and a squared. Which is the same as a times a times a, right? That's 3 times. But I'm just going to add my 2 plus 1, which is a cubed. Now my b is 1, 2 plus 3, b to the 5th. So that would be my answer. Negative 12a cubed times b to the 5th. And that's all that I have for this lesson. Let me know if you have any questions.